Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In case you didn't know, my name is Lex and today I'm going to be doing a book haul video. So my girlfriend and I have developed a habit of anytime either one of us has money, we just go raid a bunch of used bookstores and just see if we can find any books that we like. She has had a lot more luck in that department, so keep an eye out for her January book haul video at the end of this month. It's going to be a pretty big one. I, on the other hand, don't have that much because I am a lot more picky, but I decided to do a book haul video now instead of at the end of the month. So the first book that I got was Turnabout by Margaret Peterson Haddix. I actually read this book a long time ago in middle school for a school assignment. So I got this one from a used bookstore / newer bookstore called Bookman's. Really cool place. I actually got quite a few books from there, which I usually have a really hard time finding books at used bookstores. But this one is about kind of like a clinical trial of trying to cure mortality, and these two old ladies from a senior home are like their best friends, and they go through this clinical trial because they're like, whatever, we're gonna die anyway, so might as well. And they end up actually, their aging regresses. So instead of getting older, they're just constantly getting younger. And it's just their adventures on the run from the government because they took part in this clinical trial. I don't really remember because I read it in like 8th grade, but I just remember I really loved this book, so I highly recommend it. Second one we got was from a used bookstore in Arizona. I don't know the name of it, but it was in, I think, Youngtown, Arizona. So if you live out there, and there's a used bookstore out there, that's where we got it. Of course, everyone knows Interview with the Vampire. I've never read, but I do know that it's gay, and I tend to only read gay books, so I figured I would give it a shot. This one we also got from Bookman's. Listen, I cannot tell you how hard it has been to find Jurassic Park at a used bookstore. Every used bookstore we go to, I look for Jurassic Park. They have The Lost World, but they never have Jurassic Park. I love Jurassic Park so much. I've never read the book, but I love the movies, so I was like, you know what? I need to read the book. And so thankfully my girlfriend found the book for me at Bookman's and was like, babe, look what I found. And so yeah, so I got it. The next book I got was The Alchemist. So I'm really into spirituality, and I read Siddhartha a few years ago for an assignment. I think it was for like English 101 or something, and I really enjoyed it. And upon reading the description of The Alchemist, it seems like a similar storyline to what Siddhartha was, and I really enjoyed that book. So I figured I'd give it a shot. I have been looking at every used bookstore we go to try to find this book, but I wanted like the other cover, because there's a title cover that is on Goodreads, and I wanted that one, but nowhere has it, and I really wanted to get a book at least, so I was like, all right, I'll get this one because it is on my list to read, and it was really cheap. But this one we got from Book Off, which is also like a good used bookstore. They have a lot of $1 books. You'll see the other books that I got from Book Off as well. Next book is The Secret Circle books 1 and 2, which is the Initiation and The Captive Part 1. I don't really like this cover because it looks way too much like The Vampire Diaries, and I did read The Vampire Diaries in middle school. The reason why I decided to read The Secret Circle now is because I never got to before, and I really loved the TV show when that was on before it got canceled, and so I really hope that this is like the TV show. Whereas The Vampire Diaries was nothing like the TV show. They were two completely separate entities practically, just with the same characters and the same or similar premise in general. But this one we got from Pennywise Books in San Diego. I think there they have all the books half price. I don't really know what it's about. I just know it's about witches, and like this girl, Cassie, moves to a new town. She gets into this new coven. I don't know, I just know it's about witches. Been Here All Along, I also got from a used bookstore, I got it from Bookman's. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing because this is still a new book. Been Here All Along is a gay book. It's about this kid named Gideon who ends up falling in love with his best friend, Kyle. And I've never read it, but I really want to, and it's on my to-read list, so I got it. And then we did go to another used bookstore in Arizona. I don't know the name of it, I just know it's in Phoenix. The sign itself, it just says books. So, but we got this Writing, Science Fiction, and Fantasy 20 Dynamic Essays by Today's Top Professionals. This semester in school, me and my girlfriend are both taking a few creative writing classes. So we got some writing books, and we got Writing, Science Fiction, and Fantasy because we both enjoy science fiction and fantasy, and we need to work on our novels. These Witches Don't Burn has been on my to-read list since October. It hasn't been that long, but this is a relatively new book, and I got it at Pennywise Books. It's a similar deal kind of to The Secret Circle, where it's about witches. Unlike The Secret Circle, it is gay, which is most of the books that I read. It basically seems like it's about a witch who her ex-girlfriend is also a witch, and she has a crush on a girl who I think is not a witch, and you're not allowed to show your magic to people who aren't other witches, so that's an issue right there. And also she has to team up with her ex-girlfriend to stop a supernatural crisis. I was really looking forward to reading it when I added it to my to-read list, and it's gay, and I got it from a thrift store, so it's exciting. The next one I got, I'm really excited for. I got Once and Future, a brand new ass book, kind of. I mean, I think it's out in paperback now, so it's not like super brand new, but I got this from Bookman's. Once and Future is basically a sci-fi fantasy novel. It's gay. It's the story of King Arthur, except it takes place in the future and with space. Ari is the newest reincarnation of Arthur. She ends up crash landing to Earth, even though she lives in space, because it's sci-fi. And she runs into Merlin and frees the sword from the stone, and Merlin is gay, I believe. So this is supposedly really gay and super sci-fi fantasy, and I love that. I've really been trying to get into more sci-fi fantasy, and this is gay sci-fi fantasy, so that's amazing. The last one we got from the thrift store before I get into my book haul from Barnes & Noble, Dark Matter. This is a book we got from Book Off, and it's about this guy who ends up switching bodies or realities, and so it's like his life is no longer his life. He lives a completely new life with a new name, new family, new everything, and I guess his ultimate goal is to try to figure out what's going on and how to get back to his normal life, if his normal life is even real, or if his new life is the real life. Seems super dope, super cool. And that is all for my thrift bookstore haul, but I do have a whole stack of books from Barnes & Noble. Book number 1 is The Order of Time by Carlo Rovelli. It is about time. It's about time. It is a concise exploration of time from the best-selling author of 7 Brief Lessons on Physics. I love reading things that make me think, and just from the very beginning, it caught me, because I really wasn't sure what book to get. Like, I'm really picky, and I didn't see any of the ones that I wanted, but I saw this one, and it looked cool, so I read the first line, and it says, Chapter 1, Perhaps time is the greatest mystery. Even the words that we are speaking now, thieving time, has stolen away, and nothing can return. I stop and do nothing. Nothing happens. I am thinking about nothing. I listen to the passing of time. This is time, familiar and intimate. We are taken by it, the rush of seconds, hours, years that hurls us towards life, that then drags us toward nothingness. We inhabit time as fish live in water. Our being is being in time. Its solemn music nurtures us, opens the world to us, troubles us, frightens and lulls us. The universe unfolds into the future, dragged by time, and exists according to the order of time. That sounds fucking amazing. That sounds mind-blowing, you know? We have another book, another writing book that we started reading. It's in this pile of books, and in it, it says that in order to write the perfect novel, you have to capture the audience's attention. In order to publish a novel, you have to capture their attention within the first 60 seconds. You can read the first line, the first word of a novel, and be like, nah, and put it down. Which, as book lovers, we all have experienced that moment of picking up a book that seems interesting, opening to the first page, reading the first sentence, and be like, nah, and putting it back. And this book captures you right at the beginning. Amazing, phenomenal, love it. Next book I got is Crier's War. It is a fantasy novel, not sure if it's sci-fi, and it's gay. So we have Ayla, who is a human servant for the Sovereign, and the Sovereign's daughter, Lady Crier. And Crier was created, whereas Ayla is human, she was born, you know. And Ayla is like, you know what? Fuck you guys, fuck you for killing my family, I'm gonna kill your daughter, I'm gonna kill Lady Crier. And Crier was betrothed to some dude, and she was like, oh shit, maybe my dad isn't as benevolent as I thought. And who's this Ayla person? hey, what's up? So I haven't read it yet, but it's gay and they fall in love, and there's another book after this, and I've heard really great things, so I bought it. Next we have Artemis by Andy Weir. I bought this book because it's on my TBR list on Goodreads, and I love paperback. Paperback is my absolute favorite. But of course, after I bought this book at Barnes & Noble, I now see it at every used bookstore we go to in hardcover. Which I mean, like, it's fine because I don't like hardcover, but at the same time, it's like, I probably could have paid less for this book if I bought it in hardcover at a used bookstore. The thing that got me to get this book is this one line on the back, way down here. It says, "Jazz is no hero, but she is a very good criminal." So basically, she gets the gig of a lifetime to commit the perfect crime in order to get a huge payoff at the end. However, committing the crime ends up putting her smack dab in the middle of a conspiracy of people trying to take over Artemis, which is the planet. So it just seems like a really good book. I'll do these three together. They're practically all the same. We got Save the Cat Writes a Novel, the last book on novel writing you'll ever need. Creating Characters, the complete guide to populating your fiction. And this is the book that I mentioned earlier, which is The Writer's Guide to Beginnings. As you can see, we are trying to write some books, and we need help, so we got all these books. The next book that I got from Barnes & Noble is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, which I have actually already started reading it, and I'm a very slow reader. I've had these books, we went this past weekend and it's Thursday now, and I'm already more than halfway done with this book. It is so good. So good. Highly recommend. It is slightly gay. The prince is bi, but he's kind of a minor character. He's not super important, at least not from what I've read so far. The rest is straight, but it doesn't really focus on the romance. It focuses more on like the fantasy aspect. So basically it's about this guy, I think that's him, named Kel, and he is Antari, which means that he's a blood magician. So basically in a world where there are different worlds, there are 4 different worlds, and each of them have London in them, and only the Antari can travel between the worlds. So this is Kel, and he's Antari, and he can travel between, he lives in Red London, but then he can go to Grey London where he meets Delilah Bard. She's a really cool pirate. Gives me heavy gay vibes, but she is not gay, unfortunately. Then there's also White London, which is like murderous and evil because they think that magic grants power, whereas in Red London, magic is harmony, balance, like, you know, and Grey London there is no magic. And then Black London is no more because Black London was overtaken by the magic got smarter than the people and was like, I'm gonna take over, and then so Black London is no more. It died, it's gone. But Kel can travel between the worlds, and he and Holland are the only 2 Antari, so the only 2 that can do blood magic. But as the back of the book says, perilous magic is afoot and treachery lurks at every turn. To save all of the worlds, they'll first need to stay alive. This book is really good, so I highly recommend it. It plays like a movie, like a suspenseful movie inside my head, and I have a really hard time focusing and a really hard time staying like in it. Usually I'll get really bored and I'll like stop reading for a few hours before I'll get bored of being bored and start reading again. But this book, it's like I hardly ever want to put it down. It's just that good, so I highly recommend. Next is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. So this book is basically about these 2 best friends who come across this random statue just like chilling. It just like popped up, it just appeared, so they're like, what? And then they record a video of it, put it on YouTube, and April, who is one of the best friends, ends up kind of famous, like in the spotlight because of her video upload to YouTube, and she's the first person to document one of these statues, which comes to be known as the Carls. I don't know. It just seems really good. Haven't read it yet, so we'll see. I haven't really heard much about it except for what's on the back of this. Next book we got is The 5th Season. I have heard it is gay. Basically, what I gather from this little snippet on the inside is that it's basically about the end of the world. But not like the end of the world, but more like end of the world as we know it, or as the characters know it. I don't know anything about it, but it seems really good, really suspenseful, really crazy, really just worth a read. So I decided to give it a shot, even though I have no idea what it's about. Next, we have Gideon the Ninth. I'm super excited to read about this. It's about lesbian necromancers. It seems there is a witch called Harrowhawk who wants to become immortal and all-powerful, but she can't do that because she needs Gideon's sword. And without Gideon's sword, she will fail, and the ninth house will die, which is their house. It says Gideon the Ninth. I think she's of the ninth house. I have no idea. But, it just seems really good, really crazy, really violent as well. I did try to read it before I started reading A Darker Shade of Magic, and I just could not focus. They use a lot of big words and a lot of things that I don't know what they are. So I'm gonna have to try it again some other time when I have a clearer head. But it does seem super interesting, and I'm super excited to read it. Next book is Docile by K.M. I don't know how to say her last name. I'm sorry. It says there's no consent under capitalism. I have heard mixed reviews about this book. I've heard it's amazing, but I've also heard it's very problematic. So I don't know what to think about it. I just know that it's super gay. So basically this takes place in, I believe, like a dystopian future where people kind of have slaves again, but like voluntarily, kind of. So basically a lot of people are poor, and when you're poor and you need money, then you take this drug called Docilene, and it kind of makes you like, well, it makes you docile, you know. It says to be docile is to be kept body and soul for the uses of the owner of your contract. To be docile is to forget, to disappear, to hide inside your body from the horrors of your service. To be docile is to sell yourself to pay your parents' debts and buy your children's future. It seems like not a very good future to have, but and I know it's gay. It's gay. But it says Elijah, either Alicia or Elijah. I don't know how to say it. It's Elisha. He ends up in the business of like selling himself to be like a servant or whatever, but he doesn't want to take the drug, and his contract ends up being purchased by Alexander Bishop III, whose ultra-rich family is the brains and money behind Docilene and the entire Office of Debt Resolution. So it says, Alex refuses to believe that his family's crowning achievement could have any negative side effects and is determined to turn Elijah into the perfect docile without it. I don't know, it seems interesting, seems like it tackles a lot of hard topics. I have heard that it doesn't do it very well, but I guess I'll find out. And then the last book that I got is Beyond the Ruby Veil by Mara Fitzgerald. So Emanuela is gay, and she is said to marry her best friend Alessandro, who's also gay. He is also heir to the wealthiest home in her city of Ochia? Osha? I don't know. Occchia. I don't know. But Emanuela doesn't care that they're both gay. She just wants power. She doesn't really care for love. But in this particular town, their only source of water is the Water Cree, a mysterious being who uses magic to make water from blood. And omens appear on the people that must be sacrificed to the Water Cree. And this particular omen ends up on Emanuela. So she must sacrifice herself. But then she's like, nah fam, I'm good. I'm not gonna do that. So she doesn't do it, and she ends up killing the Water Cree. So now they have no way to get any water. So Emanuela and Alessandro, must travel through the mysterious blood-red veil that surrounds their city to uncover the source of the Water Cree's power and save their people. And it's really gay. The author of Crier's War said wicked, sharp, and queer as hell. So we love to see it. I look forward to reading all of them. As I read each book, I will record a review and upload that. So my next review is most likely going to be on A Darker Shade of Magic, so keep a lookout for that. If you have read any of the books featured in this video, please leave a comment down below what you thought about them. Spoiler free, please. And if you have any recommendations on some cool queer books, sci-fi fantasy, especially anything with non-binary characters, I've been really looking out for those. Leave a comment down below and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to me. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye!